Hey there, this is my Path of Exile 2 build showcase and guide for the Beira's Anguish Infernalist. I'm currently in a rare T15 Copper Citadel, and this is what the build looks like. I'll try to complete this without using the tab overlay map too much, because I really do hate it when I'm watching a build showcase and I just see the map for most of the screen. As you can see, we're mostly just clearing the entire screen with this ignite, and I'll go over why that happens after we finish this map. Let's just end the delirium so you have a better idea of what the damage looks like. Shaman Ra is kind of annoying because he has this invulnerability phase in the middle of this fight. And these are the mods. Mostly just a bunch of extra damage.
This is not over. Not yet.
So yeah, the build, as you can see, just like burns everything down on the screen. It has this humongous edge effect. You don't even need to stop moving. Rares just kind of die in a second. And this is all based on the new unique charm, Beira's Anguish. Beira's Anguish states that when I get ignited, I ignite enemies in my presence as though dealing fire damage equal to 500% of my maximum life when used. We guarantee the self-ignite using Grading Immolation, the Infernalist Ascendancy node, that states when I deal a critical hit, I get ignited. And we crit using Eye of Winter and Ball Lightning, just like long range, high hit rate spells connected to Ambush for critical hit chance against enemies that are in full life, and Pinpoint Critical that reduces critical damage. We don't care about critical damage, we only care about the more critical hit chance. We also have quality of life like Arcane Tempo and Acceleration for cast speed and projectile speed. So critting is basically guaranteed. You don't really need to work that hard for that crit. We also get just a small bit of crit chance on the tree so that we can make it smooth. So yeah, now we can go over the gear of the build. Well, let's start with the helmet, Alpha's Howl. This is probably the most expensive part of the build. It doubles our presence radius, making it absolutely huge. You don't even see it on the screen. But you don't need Alpha's Howl. Like, if you take it off, your presence radius is still pretty good. It gives 100 spirit, but you can just drop some things. I'll go over a low budget version of the build later, which is still incredibly strong, but this is really helpful. our weapon of choice is a wand, and this one's a bit interesting and possibly bugged. We use a wand with gain percent of damage as extra fire damage and gain percent of damage as extra cold. And these do affect the Beira's Anguish initial ignite as flat gain. We make non-fire damage gain this way contribute to ignite magnitude using Bringer of Flame on Infernalist. And I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to work this way. If any part of the build is going to get nerfed or fixed soon, it's likely this. I don't think this is the way it worked in Path of Exile 1, but it is consistent within Path of Exile 2. I tested this with Radiant Grief, which has an effect like Beira's Anguish, and it also affected that damage. So I want to say it's not like you're not abusing anything. If anything is going to get changed, it's likely this. But even if this is changed, the damage is still really strong without it. I want to say this is... I wouldn't be able to put a number to it, but it doesn't contribute that much to the damage. If this is changed, we would just use a regular increased fire damage one, and it would be perfectly fine. On our offhand, we use the Omen Scepter, and it has increased spirit, maximum mana. What's really nice is that it also has increased presence area of effect. But most importantly, it needs to be an Omen Scepter so that you have access to Malice, which grants or puts critical weakness on enemies around you. And critical weakness just makes it so that it's even easier to crit them. So, I mean, the crit, again, basically guaranteed. Pragmatism makes it so that charms use no charges, and that just allows you to use Beira's Anguish all the time, no matter whether there's one mob around or no mobs around. We already went around Bijouborne, but these are cheap enough that you might want to get a corruption on it. I managed to get lucky and get a cold resistance corruption. This build, it's kind of hard to get resistances on this build, so you want all the resistances that you can. On our rares, they're pretty basic. They're just like resistance, life. I got a bit of magic find on this build because it clears maps so well. I got a breach ring on this one, which allows you to push the life quality modifier to 40%. Really nice. The amulet is just maximum life, increased maximum life, and I anointed Immolation. There's a couple of good anoints for this, like Immolation, Lasting Trauma, and I haven't really tested if Woodland Aspects charms applied to you have 25% increased effect. I don't know if that affects Beira's Anguish. It might. It's weird that it says charms applied to you, but this one could be interesting. I haven't tested it out yet, but so that's something to try out later. And this ring is really interesting, Black Flame. It makes it so that enemies ignited by you take chaos damage instead of fire damage from ignite. If you don't know how this works, it makes it so offensively we scale fire damage or ignite through all the generic fire damage modifiers, like magnitude of ignite, elemental damage. But defensively, it makes it so that the enemy takes chaos damage. So defensively, on their end, they are affected by things like Despair from the -24 to chaos resistance. They're affected by Withering. This one's really big, which they can take up to 70% increased chaos damage. So that's a huge third layer for our ignite damage layer. And on our weapon swap, we use Scytha's Spear to aggravate ignites. Aggravating ignite just basically doubles the damage, but Scytha's Spear requires applying bleed to that target and aggravating that bleed as well. So we do that with Rapid Assault, which we'll go over when I go over the skill gems. So yeah, we can go over the passive tree. It's pretty simple. We mostly just path to as many jewel sockets as possible because we need these 3 Grand Spectrum jewels for that provide a lot of maximum life, about 18% maximum life in total. You also get these really powerful rare jewels that you can get up to 20 to 25% increased magnitude of ailments by combining increased magnitude of ailment you inflict and increased magnitude of ignite you inflict. Other stuff is nice, like critical hit chance, but you don't really need it. We get a bunch of fire damage on the tree just for the ignite damage. This one's really nice. Ignites you inflict, deal 15% faster. That's really important. This one is really important too. It increases with effective withered by 40%. So it goes from 50 to 70% increased chaos damage taken at 10 stacks of wither. We already went over the critical hit chance. This node is really good just for a bunch of extra intelligence because we use gear with high stat requirements, so that's really nice, and gems too. Curse magnitude for our despair and temp chains, and I'm pathing right now to echoing flames. You want about a 1-to-1 ratio of ignite magnitude and generic increased elemental and fire damage just to maximize the damage ratio. We get increased presence area of effect here and here just to really push our radius out. This one's more life and some threshold, which is not too bad. And yeah, that covers all the basic nodes. We get 2 keystones, Whispers of Doom, which allows us to unapply additional curse, so despair and temp chains. The activation delay doesn't really matter because we're using it with blasphemy. Mind over matter we take as well, which makes it so all damage is taken from mana before life. We don't really use much of our mana. We use really low level. I use the lowest level 13 and level 11 Eye of Winter and Ball Lightning. So we don't use a lot of mana and we don't even cast that much. So we might as well turn our mana into a second life pool. We also use mana remnants, which helps you keep your mana topped up, but it also overflows your maximum mana for double the amount that you have. So here we can get 2,000 mana if we're topped up, which gives us about 5k total life and mana. Otherwise, we don't really have any other defensive layers. We have no armor, no evasion, and I'm not even capped out for resistances. So your main defensive layer is killing things very fast and having a lot of life, which is pretty standard for Path of Exile. So yeah, we can go over the gems now. We don't really use any of the passive stuff from the weapons other than Malice, which we don't need to support with anything. Cast on Charm use is given by Bijouborne. It is pretty interesting. It's kind of like one of those meta skills, but for charm use. But it gives so little energy that I don't know what to use it with. Yeah, 10 maximum energy per 0.1 seconds of base cast time. It just seems so massive, considering we don't use that many charms. And we use Bear's Anguish all the time, so I'm not sure what to use this with. Eye of Winter, we already went over. Just crit supports, cast speed, projectile speed. Ball Lightning is interesting for this build. We use it because sometimes you get chunked for a lot of damage, and because we use Mind over Matter, all our mana just goes away. So we need a spell to use when we don't have any mana. And so we support Ball Lightning with Unleash, which allows it to like cast multiple times if you're not using it all the time. And Inevitable Crit, which builds crit hit chance when you're not using it. And most importantly, we support it with Life Tap so that we can use it even if we have no mana. Blasphemy is our first persistent skill. We support it with Despair and Temp Chains. These are your 2 main curses. And Heightened Curse and Ritualistic Curse, which is free area of effect and magnitude for your Blasphemy. Withering Presence inflicts Wither. This is just a debuff that makes them take increased chaos damage taken. Persistence makes the Wither last longer on them. Chaos Mastery for a level, and Clarity just for mana regeneration. Mana Remnants, these kind of pop up whenever you kill something with an elemental ailment, and we kill everything with an Ignite, so this one's perfect for our build. Magnetism makes it so they collect the remnants from further away. That's really nice. And Cannibalism just to, again, keep up our life. Blink is just better. It's better than Dodge Roll. We put cooldown recovery rate on it so that we can blink more. Rapid Assault is really interesting. Again, as I stated before, we use Scythe Spear, which allows us to aggravate Ignites if we aggravate a bleed. Rapid Assault has a guaranteed bleed on the final hit. I don't know if it says it here. Yeah, the final stab inflicts bleeding. But we also support it with Lacerate so that it can bleed on any of the hits before then. Use Martial Temple for attack speed. And this one's really cool, hit and run. It makes it so that if you move or have moved before you use the skill, it'll go out really, really fast. You don't need to be using this skill all the time anyway, so you basically have it up for the boss. And yeah, you can see how slow it is without this. This is huge, 40% more skill speed. It's really slow. Like, and then you slap this on. And yeah, makes it really snappy. And that's basically it. I wanted to highlight a low budget version of this build. One that doesn't use Alpha's Howl, that doesn't use these Grand Spectrum rules. Like, just these 3 or 4 items alone make up more than 20 divine budget of the build. Otherwise, everything here could be gotten for under 5 divines. I'll even take off the wand that may or may not be bugged. And you'll see that this build is just as strong. Like, the damage is fine. It's mostly just the radius of your presence, which makes it so that we can't apply crit weakness as easily off screen. Let me find a rare kill. Oh yeah, just roll. I ended up turning off Blink because I didn't have as much spirit off my Alpha's Howl, but yeah, as you can see, the build works perfectly fine, even without all that stuff. It's just a bit slower with a bit less radius. And I don't even have a weapon or a helmet, so yeah, that's the build. I think short of Temporalis Spark, this is probably one of the best clear builds in the game, only hampered by its ability to move around faster. With how much damage the base interaction does, I think a version with a spear or a bow on a Roa companion might work, but I haven't tried that out. I hope you have fun with this build, this patch, because I have doubts that this build will last, at least with this level of power, after 0.3. And good luck out there, Exiles.